The board has released a statement attacking protesters. Oliver Glasner could be heading to Celtic Park, and Chris Sutton has made a bold offer to help end the civil war. Plus, major refereeing controversy after a shocking decision in the Scottish Cup. It's been a dramatic 24 hours, but first make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Celtic's night against Stuttgart was bad enough on the pitch. A 4-1 defeat at Celtic Park left the tie hanging by the flimsiest of threads, and the match was stopped seconds after kick-off when tennis ball-sized objects were thrown onto the surface in protest. On Friday night, interim chairman Brian Wilson moved quickly to address it. His language was sharp, and it is clearly aimed at attacking the protesters in a "look what we're having to put up with" type statement. Last night was deeply disappointing for the club in many respects, Wilson said. This started with an orchestrated disruption of the game, causing a delay to an important match. Wilson also set out his recent outreach, stressing he has met supporter groups and individuals, including the Green Brigade and the Celtic Fans Collective, repeatedly using the phrase "in good faith." The statement's central message is a call for order inside the stadium and a plea to protect Martin O'Neill and the squad during a run-in that still holds domestic promise. When I came into this role, I asked for unity inside the stadium to support the team while trying to resolve other issues, Wilson said. I want to see suspensions lifted and differences set aside, but this cannot be unconditional. That is where the club's framing starts to run into the reality of what has actually been offered so far. Supporter representatives have already outlined that, in meetings this week, much of what Celtic discussed sits in the review and draft proposals bracket, with a commitment to return within a month on a supporter engagement model, and no clear timeline attached to other flashpoints like the Green Brigade situation and the fan media bans. So when Wilson says unity cannot be unconditional, the obvious question becomes, what precisely are the conditions and who sets them? The bigger issue is that Thursday's protest did not erupt in a vacuum. Wilson insists his words are not intended to deflect from other issues that affect the club and are fully recognised, but the statement leans heavily on others being the issue. Celtic's own process, by the club's own admissions in recent discussions, has not always looked tight or accountable, particularly around communications and decision-making. Wilson finished with a promise to keep pushing for an end to what he called this debilitating and unnecessary atmosphere of conflict. Supporters will hear that. They will also measure it against actions. As we have found out firsthand, do not judge the Celtic board by what they say, judge them by what they do. Now for the main story, as Oliver Glasner could be on his way to Celtic Park as rumours continue to swirl around the Crystal Palace manager's future. The Austrian has been under immense pressure at Selhurst Park for the majority of the 2025-26 campaign, and it could all come to a head before the end of the campaign. According to Fabrizio Romano on the 20th of February, Glasner and the Palace board are in discussions over his future on Friday the 20th of February, which could bring a sorry end to his tenure in southeast London. He had become a legend at the club after helping the Eagles to lift the FA Cup last season, the club's first ever major trophy, but things appear to have gone sour due to his comments in the media. Glasner has spoken openly about not being backed by Steve Parish and the rest of the board, a situation which blew up after Mark Guehi nearly joined Liverpool in the 11th hour during the summer transfer window, with Martin O'Neill making it clear that he has no ambitions to remain at Celtic Park beyond the end of the season. The board must make a key decision on who takes over for the 2026-27 campaign. Ange Postecoglou has already ruled out a dramatic return, with Portugal head coach Roberto Martinez currently the favourite to lead the Hoops into next season. The Hoops must make the right decision this time around. Wilfried Nancy lasted just 8 games or 33 days in charge, winning just 25% of them, with Glasner priced at 33-1 to be Celtic's manager for when the 2026-27 campaign kicks off. It is clearly not very likely, but the bookmakers believe that there is a slim chance. After losing 4-1 to VfB Stuttgart in their Europa League round of 32 first leg, the advancement to the next round in Europe appears to be off the table, even with another 90 minutes to play. Therefore, all focus should be on the Scottish Premiership title race, with the top 3 teams separated by just 3 points after 27 games, with Celtic having a game in hand. Hearts lead the table with 57 points from 27 games and a goal difference of plus 26. Rangers sit second with 55 points from 27 games, also with a plus 26 goal difference. Celtic are third with 54 points from 26 games and a plus 22 goal difference. While the players do their jobs on the pitch, those behind the scenes need to work on finding the next permanent manager. O'Neill is unlikely to still be at the helm come next season. The 73-year-old has done a stellar job since taking over the reins again, but should the board somehow be able to land Glasner's signature, it would be an absolute no-brainer for the 55-time league champions. In other news, Chris Sutton has offered himself as an unlikely peacemaker as tensions between Celtic and sections of the support continue to rumble on. Thursday night's Europa League tie against Stuttgart once again highlighted the fractured atmosphere around Celtic Park. While the visiting support unveiled their own tifo in the away section, the Green Brigade area of the North Curve remained closed. Just a day earlier, representatives from the Celtic Fans Collective met with the club with Brian Wilson in attendance to discuss the continued exclusion of the Green Brigade. Concerns were raised about the impact the ban is having on atmosphere and supporter sentiment. The club acknowledged those concerns, confirmed that dialogue is ongoing, and indicated a willingness to resolve the situation, albeit subject to conditions. No time frame for any resolution was offered. In his statement on Friday night, Brian Wilson again called for resolutions. Against that backdrop, hopes that the Green Brigade might return for such a high-profile European night were dashed. Instead, there was a coordinated protest at kickoff, with small tennis balls and bouncy balls thrown onto the pitch from the north stand, delaying the start of the match by several minutes and drawing further attention to the standoff. Former Celtic striker Chris Sutton, who spent 6 years at the club, believes the situation has dragged on for too long and suggested he could help broker peace. Speaking to Record Sport, Sutton said, "Here's an idea. Bring me in, and I'll mediate between the two. Maybe I can bang a few skulls together for the greater good." The disconnect between the club and a section of its most vocal supporters is playing out publicly, on big European nights, rather than being resolved behind closed doors. With crucial fixtures still to come domestically, many supporters believe unity is essential if Celtic are to navigate the decisive months ahead. Whether Sutton's offer is taken up is another matter entirely, but this situation cannot be allowed to drift much longer. In other news, the late challenge on Kieran Tierney that left the defender needing treatment has been explained by the Scottish FA, with refereeing chief Willie Collum insisting the incident did not meet the threshold for a red card. The flashpoint came in the dying moments of Celtic's Scottish Cup tie against Dundee at Celtic Park. Tierney was caught by a high boot from Cameron Congreve, taking studs to the face and prompting immediate concern. As a precaution, the Celtic defender was withdrawn, though tests later confirmed he had not suffered a concussion and he was available again for the midweek league match against Livingston. The incident sparked anger among supporters, many of whom immediately drew comparisons with the red card shown to Yang Hyun-jun at Tynecastle in a previous season for a high boot, an incident some felt involved less force than the challenge on Tierney. In this case, however, only a yellow card was shown. Speaking on Sky Sports, Willie Collum outlined why the refereeing team and VAR concluded a booking was the correct outcome. He said, "Of course you can make a case when there's any contact to the face. That's why the refereeing team really need to analyse this, and the VAR team as well. This is a reckless action for us. Reckless meaning yellow, because it's the top of the boot. But I don't want to say that every time it's the top of the boot, that doesn't endanger the safety, or we would deem it always to be a yellow card." That's all the latest Celtic news for today. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. I'll see you in the next one. Hail, hail.